Hello, welcome to Future Balls. I'm Nathan Waters.
I'm Tristan Grace.
We've got balls in a bingo ball machine. We spin them, 3 come out, 3 future topics, and we combine them on the fly.
Hells yeah. So we come up with new ideas all the time. And we've got our first one here, which is future work. What is work in the future?
Please no work. Just none.
And we've got the second one, which is AI.
Oh, there you go, solved.
Yeah, I know, it's kind of sorted, right? And the lucky last, launched off the table. It is Vanlife.
Ha 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 ha. Nice.
Okay, this is pretty cool. I like these 3.
Chill in the van and just like not have to work.
Yeah, with an AI to solve it all for you.
And the AI can drive it. There you go.
Sort of done. Oh, this has been future.
I'm Nathan Waters. I'm Tristan Grace. Thanks for listening.
I like the idea of if you are living in a van and like you're totally set away from like society and maybe you've just got an AI set up to just automatically work for you. Like you could just do whatever. It could be the one actually interacting with the world while you go away and just live the hedonistic lifestyle. That could kind of be a thing.
I almost think I was complaining a bit today on Facebook. I think that's almost what Zoomers and alphas are kind of expecting the future to be. Like they all just want to operate they all just want to be entertainers. They just want to like operate in the attention economy and just like entertain people. But I was like, dude, I don't think we're there yet. Like unless somehow we get some crazy fucking AGI pop up in the next decade, they could just do everything. Like, there's going to be a lot of work to do. We still need, like, engineers. We need people doing work every day to, like, fucking automate this shit. Like, it's not going to be a walk in the park.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we are not there yet. But soon, though. You can kind of see the future out there on the horizon, but there's all of those, like, you know, the little niggly bits that you have to deal with right now. Very frustrating.
And all the landmines on the way.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
so many landmines.
What's your favorite landmine? What's going to happen and blow up?
I don't know, rent. I think landlords, it's just like there's between us and the future, there's just a whole bunch of landlords holding grenades in their hands that you have to like get past. I don't know. That's the first thing that came to mind. Because it's like, oh, we could be living a life of leisure, but the landlord's like, oh, how about I take 50% of your time and income away from you? And wouldn't that be a shame?
Say that they end up owning the vans as well, right? And or say it's the AI that owns the van, so you're just living in this little box that moves around. And hey, it's even cheaper than having to build land because you don't need to buy the land. I mean, how great is that? From the landlord's perspective, of course.
Yeah, rent seeking on artificial scarcity. Yeah, that'll be.
Oh dear,
that's something I fear.
Yeah,
but I do. But on the van, like, I guess I can riff on the van life thing because that's something I see as an interesting future, but also an initial out. So, like, you've obviously got the like once we have self-driving cars, then van life becomes way more comfortable and novel and interesting, and can actually like compete against fixed housing in terms of like what it can offer, because you basically just like they're just like rooms on wheels at that point, and you can do stuff like just, you know, take me here, take me there, or just, you know, if you're out somewhere and you just say, okay, come pick me up, and it just comes and picks you up, and like then you're home.
Hell yeah. Well, if it is combined well with AI, like Vanlife, that it is kind of, you just say to the van, I want to actually end up over here, and then it just drives around. Like if it's connected to your calendar, sorted around like, you know, how you work and how you do things, then, you know, whenever it gets near lunch, the van automatically just drops you off where you want to go, and then you're in like, you know, a picturesque location. You go and like, you know, have your lunch by the beach, and then you move along to the next town, and as you work your way, you know, following the seasons, right, or something like that. That would be kind of amazing from like that perspective, not having to drive, and you just work in the back as you get ferried around the world. Oh, fuck yeah.
And then for work, like you could do stuff where it's like, you know, imagine you're living in Sydney at the moment, and it's like, you just get pinged, and it's like, hey, we've got some work for you in Melbourne, like for the next 3 months. Like, you know, it's a really good contract. Like, come down here for 3 months, and you're just like, okay, cool, done. And you literally just, the van drives to Melbourne, and now you're in Melbourne. It's not a big issue.
That's kind of incredible, and that could actually be a big force in the future that actually acts against the whole like Zoom working. Everyone's like now because of the pandemic and stuff that everything will be done over video chats and stuff, and they're saying all the trends are towards that. Like you read articles and stuff now, that's all people are saying, and you have to wonder what's going to balance against that. And maybe it's a full self-driving will actually allow that to happen, and the van life community, which is actually growing. You have the digital nomads just being able to go to wherever you want to go, and meeting that way.
Yeah.
That could be a force.
I think that's it. Like obviously, like if you're having to work with people in different countries, then it makes sense to go for the kind of full immersive VR, AR, holographic type thing. But definitely, like you want to be. I still think the future of work is going to be like working with people, because the feedback loops are just so much tighter.
Yeah.
And like unless you can like 100% mimic reality in an AR type setting, then I think it's going to be way better just to have like a group of people working on stuff. But I like this idea of like 3-month projects, because the idea of like working for one company on one project for even like I can't even fucking deal with 6 months. Like 6 months my limit. That's literally when I get fired, is at about the 6-month mark, because I'm just like fucking done with the bureaucratic bullshit of jobs, 9-to-5 jobs. Like it's literal fucking slavery, guys. Like it's terrible. I don't know how people do it. I avoid it at all costs, and those costs are high. But definitely the future of work. Like I love this idea of kind of like a peer-to-peer referral economy where you build up these kind of collective intelligence networks of who knows each other and who knows what they're good at and what you are good at. And then it's just like anytime anyone has any request, it doesn't have to be paid. It could be anything. It could be like, I need help with X, or I need someone who's really good at Y. You should just be able to like request it, not in some little closed platform like, blah, blah, blah.com. It should just be like in any network. It's just all distributed and interconnected. And you say, I need this, and it just routes through that network, either automatically based on previous kind of neural pathways that have been forged, or manually if someone, it lands in your inbox and it says, hey, do you know anyone who's good at this thing? And you go, yeah, I do actually. And you forward it onto them. And so you should be able to wake up in the morning and it's just like, hey, do you want to do work today? Like, do you need money today? And you're like, oh, fuck yeah, I do. And you log into it and it's just like, here's like a 10 grand project for the next couple of days. Do you want to do that? And you're like, fuck yeah. And it's like matched to you. It's like perfectly like stuff you want to be doing with your life, like stuff you're really good at.
Also, you could say stuff you want to like kind of level up in it as well. Like as you start learning, like say a new technology, you're kind of like, hey, I've learned a little bit about this. I want to focus more on it. So you could kind of say, hey, look, I'm looking for more jobs around this level. And it could tailor it towards more of a junior person that allows you to kind of grow in that area, right?
Yeah. That's a similar idea I've had in the past. I don't know if I like that idea anymore, the leveling up.
I guess it could be intangible though, but like, how do you know if people are good at certain things? I guess, or I mean, people can just say like you just learn as you go, right? You don't need an actual, a proper number next to your name saying that you're level 47 in web development.
Yeah. Well, that was the idea I had way back with Purism, was like doing level ID numbers, and I was like, well, that's very dehumanizing, and there's a lot of ways to game that.
Oh yeah, totally.
but I do like the idea of like peer-to-peer education. Like the best person to learn from isn't someone who's like the expert in that particular topic. It's like the person who is just 1 or 2 steps ahead of you.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they're so much at a closer level to you that they'll be better to explain what the next 2 steps are.
Yeah, the next little bit.
Yeah, and if you can connect those 2 people together in as real a time as possible, then you get this like massive feedback loops going on.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Well, that's kind of a big thing. Like we talk about like say future work, but a lot of it comes down to like future education too, because to be able to do certain types of work, you need to actually be educated first to get to that level. And so the education kind of needs to be redone, I think, a little bit to, better work in that way, because so many things like, just talking from a perspective of, say, programming is like, the rise of boot camps and stuff compared to, the 4-year education. And I know definitely from my experience back at university that a lot of the people who came out of those 4 years couldn't actually code, which was mind-blowing.
They didn't even teach Git.
Shocking. So, yeah, I guess that kind of becomes a big part of it. And I like what we spoke before about with Vanlife, that as you're separated from people, you still need that, connection within your tribe, within your community on that topic, which was really useful, I guess, with universities and that type of stuff that you start teaching each other. Got to get into the AR, the VR, right? I don't know. What the fuck?
Yeah. I almost think too that I think with education it's the future is definitely like in real time. Like you should learn as you go. Um this idea of like I mean for maybe stuff where it's like building a bridge like doing heart surgery, like okay, you should probably like spend some time on the theory before you get into it. But for most things, like I even like a 3 month boot camp, like I don't think that makes sense. It should just be like a staggered process. Like you don't want to break down tasks so much that they're so boring that you just like you move a pin from one box to another.
Yeah,
It should be something.
absolutely.
It should be something reasonably complex and interesting, but it should be like matched to your level, so that as you go along, you're learning as you go.
I guess that's something where an AI could really help because if it actually, say, has information, absolute information. Yeah, exactly. It whips you until you learn. Wrong, monkey. Do it again.
Get to the next step faster.
But so back to your other point about like say heart surgery or building a bridge, right? So you could still break that down, I guess, into smaller levels. Or if the AI knew all of your skills and all the different work that you've done, if that was totally shared, you could then watch, say, the best people actually performing heart surgery. You could understand, oh, that's how this bit kind of works. And you kind of, like a lot of the work would be learning that, I guess, to start with. And the AI could guide you on different bits. You could have different practice and stuff happening in VR. And then when you have like your first real assignment, you've still got the expert standing over you, like, checking, which I'm guessing is how it works right now with heart surgery. I doubt that they just let someone just go nuts with it to start with. There's probably a whole bunch of people.
But who knows? They probably do. They just don't tell the patient.
Yeah, I've often wondered about that. Hey?
Like you're not going to go into heart surgery and be like, okay, this is Dave's first day. Welcome. He'll be performing your heart surgery today. You're like, oh god.
Oh man. Yeah, that's another thing that's just not opened up, and like with so much of the outrage with privacy, which rightly justified outrage with privacy. Like actually letting an AI have complete access to how you work and what your actual skills are, like it could really, really help you grow and benefit if done in the right way. Of course, the exploitation, very easy to be done as well. But holy shit, that would be great. Just if you could apply it to yourself, you were in control of the AI. Let me level up in this. Tell me what to learn next. I don't fucking know.
Yeah. But then it's like, well, how much? I wonder if it gets to the point where there's certain things where it's like the AI is like, I mean, I could teach you, I could just do it for you.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
like particularly, I'm thinking like coding, like the whole codex thing that's coming out with GitHub and stuff. Like, maybe you could have an AI watching you code, and it could be like, well, I could teach you how to do this thing, or it could just be like, and just does it. Just does it.
Well, yeah, if it knows how to do it, why is it teaching the monkey to do that? And so I guess that comes down to, like, we may have mentioned it before, but the whole thing that it's going to be white-collar jobs that actually get automated first, because they're just, doing stuff on a screen. And once an AI can actually just do all the things on a screen, you can automate the fuck out of a whole bunch of white-collar jobs. So maybe the AI's purpose there is more of the heart surgery. Even that could be done by a robot, I guess. But more of the, interacting with the physical world that can't be done as well right now. So it's training more of the humans to move atoms, right? Rather than moving bits, the AI can move bits really well, but moving atoms, it's still not the best at.
Yeah, definitely.
Which does make it a bit harder. Well, maybe not harder for Vanlife, but say combining that with Vanlife, if you're actually needed because of your physicality, Vanlife actually really does work there, because you can actually go and move to where you need to be and do the prep work before that. And you drive and you go and be physically in a place, physically present.
Yeah, okay. But my head went to bad, dark places with that immediately.
Oh, no.
The AI moves the monkeys around in the little boxes to take them to where they need them to move the atoms.
Yeah, exactly. In that tiny... I mean, that's Uber right now, right? It's just an algorithm dictating where everyone can go. The monkeys think they're in control, but they're not. Silly monkeys.
But the other thing I really love about Vanlife, I initially love it just because I think it immediately wiped out that half your income cost that goes to mortgages and rent. So then you immediately free people up to be like, okay, you now don't have to work half as much as you do to pay to live, which is great. And that's like a huge thing. And then from there you can start knocking off other things like, okay, how do we make food cheaper? How do we make clothing cheaper, electricity, communications, blah blah blah. And then you can do really cool shit like have dynamic gatherings, dynamic cities, dynamic towns, dynamic villages, like where it's just like, okay, everyone is now, all the biohackers are now going to this place, and that's where they all hang out for the next couple of months. Or all the, what's another cool like group of people? Like
Farmers.
Okay, yeah. So let's go farm tech. Like all the people who want to build like farming robots, like they're all gonna go hang out at this van village for the next couple of months. And because you've got no physical ties, like you're not, stuck in one location, you can just be like, at an instant, just be like, fuck yeah, I'm going to go there. And you can drive there, or it self drives there, and you can hang out with these cool people and just like get this massive kind of flowing of information. I think it's going to like, at the moment, like van life just seems like a cute little like, oh, that's just like what the millennials are doing, like to travel around and blah, 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 and have fun and take photos on Instagram and stuff. I think there's a chance where it can become like quite a major lifestyle option that a lot of people will take up, because it will be better on an economic basis and better on a lifestyle basis than what fixed housing can offer.
Well, absolutely. And with the trend now of fixed housing just skyrocketing, and it seems that all governments are trying to aim for increased house prices, which is just literally stealing money out of the people working. If half of your paycheck goes towards that, that means 2.5 days of work a week is going to pay some little leech on the sitting by their in their mansion somewhere.
Up.
Yeah.
Always up.
Yeah, always up. So actually having a van going somewhere is a great way to rebuke the system and say, well, fuck it. I'm going to actually, work for myself with that. So, I mean, just economically, holy shit, that's going to be a strong force.
We definitely need to prevent van lords, though. Yeah. Van lords cannot happen. If it happens, it's over.
You would hope that it can be mass produced. Like vans are way easier to mass produce than land is.
Yeah, look, I had this kind of fantasy in my head that you should be able to create a self-driving all-electric van for like 10 grand. Like, I don't understand why electric car. Like, I guess most of the cost of an electric car these days is the batteries. But if you think about it, like, you could it's quite literally like 4 motors, 4 wheels, and a battery pack with a shell. That's basically, and then some computation. So I don't know why are electric cars so expensive these days? And what can you, if you think from first principles, how low can the cost of an electric car go?
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, from first principles around the whole van life concept, you could get it really cheap and really just pump it out there.
Yeah.
That would be freaking brilliant. That'd be a great way for people at uni or for just people starting out, the way that you could actually multiply your income. You put down 10 grand now compared to, well, you should pay like say 30 grand a year in rent. Hey, 10 grand a year in rent, you get to keep the rest. You don't need to worry about all that other shit.
Not even 10 grand a year in rent. It's like, okay, you rent it it's like rent to own. Idea of like, just by default, you can buy a 10 grand self-driving van home and you pay it off in like, installments of like $100 a week or $50 a week. And then once it's paid off, it's like, it's yours. And now you don't have any rent. And then because the electricity is just like free from solar, it's essentially like, you plug into some free. I mean, I'm sure they're going to end up like charging shitloads of money to recharge electric cars in the future. It'll become another rent-seeking thing, but
it's a good way to do it, right? Like, say you you work throughout the day, have all the solar panels, like charging the car and stuff. And if you need to get somewhere else, like you just drive at night when you're asleep. You've got the AI automatically driving you to your next work site, and God, that's a great way to keep costs low. Holy shit.
I suppose, if you only have to travel, like, I don't know how long a solar roof would work for, but yeah, if you only have to travel 5-10 Ks a day, and you don't have the time pressure of like having to travel 100 Ks in like one day, like maybe you can do is pure solar roof. You just jump from place to place every 5 Ks.
Well, imagine if you could actually fold it out. I've seen like a camper vans that do that. It doesn't just have to be the roof that's there. If you're actually immobile for, say, when you're working, you don't want the vibrations in the car or something. You're sitting there working, you fold out all of your solar panels, and that allows you to drive like, another 500 Ks that night or something. You can, that'd be pretty sweet. A great way that you get to keep your actual money, and like the amount of innovation that will happen from that. Fuck. Making people richer. It's good.
Yeah. Free time.
Yeah.
Lower. I love this idea of like, if you lower people's living costs while simultaneously increasing their remote income, then that's like, it's like a realistic path to freedom.
Yeah.
Like to giving people free time. Because if you only need to work, let's just say you have to work 1 day a week, like to cover all your living costs. Like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, well, that's where innovation actually happens, is where people don't actually have to focus on all of these tiny little things that'll take up all of their, best brain power. They can focus on the big thoughts and work towards something great.
Exactly, like becoming a Twitch streamer.
Yeah, exactly.
No, hopefully people think bigger than attention economy stuff. What were the other topics? What are Vanlife and
AI and future work?
AI future work.
We've done pretty well tying them together. There's been some weird stuff there.
These are big topics.
It's a lot to cover in really 20 minutes.
Just casually tie them together. Well, we're trying to come up with new shit. What else what have we missed?
AI is the big thing here. Like, it can go anywhere. It's just like the thing of magic right now. What the fuck will AI do? How will it end up changing everything, right? Future work may not even be a thing because the AI can just do it all, especially with new robots coming out. So don't even need to be there physically. Or 100 years from now, you may not need to.
Well, there's the other thing that's always pushed in the futurist community by the typical, like, the guys that get paid to do keynote speeches. They're always, then they wear suits. You see them, you know who they are. They always push this idea that, like abundance, like we're going to have, like, you will never have to work because the AI and the robots will do everything, like full automation. And I mean, you got to think that, like, the reason why people fear automation and AI now is purely because of the way the capitalist system is structured. Because it's, if the technology and the AI and the automation and these neural nets are owned by companies with a for-profit motive, they're owned by a handful of people, then you're going to have to go through those companies to access that automation. It's not in the control of humanity. Yeah. And so therefore there's always going to be a cost to it. And it's always just going to, like, be an extractive thing rather than an abundant thing. It's going to have artificial scarcity attached to it.
Yeah. I know it should be a celebration that we can actually achieve all this efficiency. But I mean, we see it now with, like, all the artificial scarcity that happens online with, like, say, loot boxes or anything digital. All of this shit that's just put in there where it doesn't need to be. Like, to make it more efficient, you could just get rid of that stuff and then people would have more of their money and they'd be more efficient doing things. I mean, hell, that's what it comes down to, like, with copyright and all that shit.
But the problem is we're stuck in this current economic system where it's like, well, a robot would be great, but if it takes away my ability to, like, pay rent and food, then that's not good. I don't want that. And that's the reason why people fear automation and how silly it is from a macro perspective. But it makes complete sense on a personal level for those people.
Exactly.
It's like,
oh, fuck.
But then they're always like, oh, they can, like, the truck drivers can learn to code. It's like, come on, man. That's not a solution.
Indeed. Oh, maybe we should leave it there.
It's not a positive note to end on.
It's
Give us a positive one.
Well, I mean, the positive thing is that everything's going to be done automatically and we can just live in vans and exist wherever we want to go rather than only the richest living by the beaches and in paradise. You could have people automatically going there. You could be dropped off there, go and have fun, and then your van automatically drives back and picks you up. You could go and live in the best possible places all around the world. That'd be kind of cool. You go to Europe or America or Asia or something and you just slowly over a year just drive across to all of the best places in the world, working little bits. It's kind of you like a utopian. Oh, fuck, I don't know that word. It's really good.
It's like a digital nomad.
Yeah.
New nomads coming back. Okay, there you go. That's positive enough.
Yeah, let's do that. Well, we'll catch you later. I'm Tristan Grace.
I'm Nathan Waters.
Bye.
See you.